Hi, and welcome to another episode of Interview with a Schizophrenic. Um, Today, I don't have a guest. I just thought I would talk about antipsychotics from my own personal experience and also something that I've read in the news recently as well. So I take olanzapine, um, which is which used to be known as Zyprexa. Um, it's an atypical antipsychotic. I was first prescribed it back in 2000, I think. It's difficult to remember. Um, and I took it all the way up to 2010, um, various dosages. I think I started off on like 7.5 milligram, then went down to 5, went down to 2.5, and then it went up again. Um, but in 2010, I stopped taking my medication because I thought I was well. Um, and that was a bad move because what happened is that I had a hard relapse. Um, I mean, before I stopped, I wasn't hearing voices, and I thought I was fine. Um, but I didn't even speak to my doctor. I just stopped it off my own accord. Um, but I wasn't fine because, first of all, the first thing that happened was I had the horrible withdrawal symptoms. I was feeling nauseous. I had stomach pains. I couldn't sleep, and this withdrawal effects went on for about 3 months. Um, just awful nausea in my stomach. I was always clutching my stomach because it was in pain. Um, it was horrendous. I mean, that was 10 years of taking olanzapine and then not stopping, with the clinician's advice or tapering down properly. I just stopped kind of cold turkey, and it was a killer. The withdrawal symptoms were a killer. Um, and then after that, I started hearing voices again, and the voices were loud and very distressing. I was off meds for about a year before I basically went to my GP and I said, "Look, you got to put me on some meds because I can't handle this." I mean, the voices were so bad; it was just driving me mad. Just imagine as if you're at home and you hear hear voices in your head that sound like dismembered voice, sounds like a real person, and they're not pleasant. They might swear, they might curse at you, or they nag at you, or they're screaming, and it's just so disturbing, and you can't stop it. Um, there's a few things you can do just to relieve the pain a little bit, like listening to music, distracting yourself, but generally you can't do anything about it. So I went to the GP and I said, "Listen, I need some antipsychotics." So I saw a psychiatrist, and he diagnosed me with severe schizophrenia. Um, he said, um, "Yeah, you've got schizophrenia, pal." Um, because my diagnosis before 2010 was psychotic episodes. Obviously, I was having psychosis for 10 years, and it was chronic. So that is where my diagnosis came from. Um, this psychiatrist is very good. He suggested I go and Abilify. He gave me some documents so I could read about it. Um, so I read about it. It looked good. There's limited side effects. Not like weight gain or drowsiness like in olanzapine. So I thought I'd try it. I was really excited to try it. I was on Abilify for about a year, and I had horrendous side effects of restlessness. So it's like you couldn't stay still, or like if I'd try and watch a film, I would feel really uncomfortable. I had to get up, and it was just something you couldn't. It was like a restlessness that you couldn't relieve. There's nothing you could do to relieve it. I couldn't play video games or anything like this because I felt pain in my head, like a physical pain. It was like as if it was just horrible. And the thing about olanzapine, even though you get weight gain and you get drowsiness, it's quite a comforting drug. It kind of makes you kind of mellow, kind of just, and there's no pain with it. So yeah, so I stuck in Abilify for a year, and it was horrible. It was hell. Um, so I saw another psychiatrist, and he put me on olanzapine. Um, and that was a godsend. Yeah, but I was still hearing voices. So I was hearing voices from 2010, and I'm still hearing them 11 years later. They haven't stopped because I had a hard relapse. Um, so yeah, so I put on weight with olanzapine. Definitely, I am severely overweight. I'm also quite tall and quite broad, so it doesn't look that bad. Um, I recently got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It's very common with olanzapine. Um, so yeah, it's a tough journey, but it's a tough journey. But I mean, I'm trying to do things to, like, I believe in plant based eating. I feel that will help me lose weight and help reverse diabetes. So that is kind of what I'm doing, is plant based eating, which basically means um, eating legumes, grains, um, vegetables, and fruit. Um, I mean, there's like doctors like the Dr. Neil Barnard. He recommends this diet. Dr. McDougall recommends this diet. There's a lot. It's basically vegan. It's basically that's what it is. So that is what I'm trying to do. So so yeah, that's kind of my story. That's like an abridged version of my story of antipsychotics and my schizophrenia diagnosis. But so many crazy things happened to me when that year when I was off meds. It was totally crazy. It was quite enjoyable in a sense, but at the end it was driving me mad. I don't know, maybe I'd claw my eyes out or something. You just try to get to your brain and get the pain to ease off, but there's nothing you can do. Yes, antipsychotics, they take the edge off it. They didn't stop the voices, but they took the edge off it. They took that sharpness away, so that so basically it's bearable. It's bearable, yeah. But I also want to talk about what I've read in the news recently about antipsychotics. So the traditional atypical antipsychotics block the dopamine in the brain, but researchers at Pittsburgh School of Medicine have found why these drugs cause weight gain, because blocking dopamine in the pancreas allows uncontrolled production of key hormones which lead to obesity and diabetes. So it's the blocking of dopamine in the brain and the pancreas, which is a key to why certain atypical antipsychotic medications, cause weight gain. And also, I've talked about this in the past episodes, but there's also which I'm quite excited about, this new nasal spray. So this was developed by McMaster University in Canada. They developed a nasal spray which can deliver antipsychotics directly to the brain, and the um, it will bypass the blood-brain barrier, so it'll bypass the digestive system. So you won't have that issue um, of digesting the drug. it'll just go straight to the brain. Um, so at the moment, they're seeking a commercial partner to take this further, to take it into the marketplace. This is quite exciting stuff, really. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk about antipsychotics and my diagnosis, um, and sort of how to do a solo video. It's my first solo video. Um, I do have some guests lined up, more guests lined up. So there's going to be more episodes in the pipeline. I was encouraged that we were recommended on FeedSpot. They we were one of the recommended channels to watch in 2021. I'm getting good feedback on my YouTube videos. I'm getting good feedback from people who've been guests. They want so I want to continue making episodes because schizophrenia is marginalized, we're ostracized, we're stigmatized, we're discriminated against. I want to educate people, and I want to bring it, and I want to do my bit to bring schizophrenia into the light and out of the darkness, because it is a devastating illness. Um, it can this it takes away a large part of the quality of life. You can, it's you know, people can they say you can lead a normal life. Well, not really, because if you're on antipsychotics, you've got to deal with the side effects, and you might have to deal with the psychotic symptoms that still persist. So it's not really normal. Um, it kind of it's normal if you kind of forget about the schizophrenics, and you kind of forget about them and just say and you know don't bother them, and they'll get on with their life. But it's not a normal life. So yeah. So, thank you for, my listeners and people watching on YouTube. I'm doing it for you. Um, I also produce these videos uh, for fellow sufferers, just to show that you're not alone. There's a voice out there. There's voices out there. We will fight in the same battle. Um, so let's have some hope. Um, Plant-based diet, I reckon that's a definite plus. If we get a nasal spray medication, these are good things. Um, so yeah. So that is all. I'm going to sign off now, and please do subscribe and like this video. Okay.